Hello and welcome to the agenda. I am Ajay Kaul. In this program today, we will analyze what the US Taliban deal has achieved till date and its impact on India. Exactly 1 year back, the US under Donald Trump administration signed a deal with Taliban which was intended to usher in peace in Afghanistan and pave the way for the exit of American troops by May this year. On the first anniversary, the deal is in shambles and the US under the Joe Biden administration now is reviewing it. In the agenda today, we will analyze whether the deal has achieved anything and what impact India should expect. We have with us retired diplomat Ambassador Ashok Sajanhar and retired Major General S.B. Astana. From Kabul, we are joined by Mohammad Idris Tanikzai, who is leader of Youth Trend, a political organization of Afghanistan, who will give us his assessment from the ground. But before we begin our conversation, have a look at this small report.
Many people had predicted it to be a doomed deal, and it has turned out so. The agreement between the US and the Taliban, signed exactly 1 year back, has failed to deliver the intended result, that is, ushering in peace in Afghanistan. The deal signed in Doha on February 29 mandated the Taliban to end violence and disconnect its link with Al-Qaeda. In lieu of that, the US would withdraw its troops from Afghanistan by the month of May this year. It was seen as a face-saver withdrawal of the US from Afghanistan after 19 years of war in which it was not winning. The then US President Donald Trump had made it a bold promise and he wanted to fulfill it before facing the presidential elections in November last year. Thus, he was in hurry to pull back American troops. However, ever since the deal was signed and while the US withdrawal is in process, Afghanistan has seen increase in Taliban attacks. The aim is clearly to take control of Kabul by militarily overthrowing the elected government. The Joe Biden administration in the US, which took over in January, is conscious about Taliban not living up to its commitments, including cutting ties with Al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups that threaten the US. And hence the new US government is reviewing the deal. For India, it is a sense of relief as the exit of America from Afghanistan will mean leaving space for Taliban's mentor and sponsor Pakistan to make the country a manufacturing base for terrorism once again. Bureau Report.
Now let's welcome our guests, Ambassador Sajanhar, Major General Astana and Mohammad Idris from Kabul. So we are discussing about an important deal that the US had signed with Taliban a year back. So since Afghanistan is a very important strategic neighbor of India, so I'll first go to Mohammad Idris about the ground situation. Please give us a review of the 1 year that the deal was signed and what has happened in 1 year. Mohammad Idris.
Thank you, and thank you for having me here. Well, let's start from the beginning. It was nothing but a disaster till today that it has become 1 year deal. The first and biggest mistake was that there was no Afghan people in Afghan government in the process. It was all about the Pakistanis and the Americans and about their benefits. And the Taliban and the Pakistan Army and ISI, they were never committed in a long-lasting peace in Afghanistan. So the first problem, the basic problem was not the Afghan people in Afghan government. The second problem was giving legitimacy to a terrorist group and giving them highest protocols and like Trump talking for 2 hours with Law Brother, this was all against the partnership we have with the US. And the other mistake which happened, reducing of 5,000 prisoners, everyone was pressuring Afghanistan in the Afghan government that if you are not against the peace, you have to release the prisoners. So we said, okay, we will release the prisoners, but they have to make sure that they will not go back to the battlefield. And they promised. But unfortunately, the moment they were released, they were back in the battlefield and killing innocent Afghans. So it's been 1 year. They have also promised reduction in violence, and we have witnessed like 4 sticky bombs per day in Kabul and killing of journalists, political activists, and young figures. Taliban were doing so. There is no reduction in violence. There is no commitment for peace from the Taliban. They have ordered their commanders to be ready for the spring offensive in operations. So I think it was a disaster from the beginning. And it is not helping. It's not Doha, the Doha talks, Doha peace talk. It's all about the Pakistan and the Americans. There was nothing for the Afghan people. They have been saying that the Afghan war must end, Afghan have suffered, they are being killed every day. But that was just for the media. The real thing was that Trump wanted something big for his election, that he ended the war in Afghanistan that has been going for 20 years. No president couldn't do it. President Obama couldn't do it. President Bush couldn't end the war in Afghanistan. So I did it. I brought our soldiers back home, and that's why I have to be elected.
Right.
And I'm glad it didn't happen. He is not elected because they were really pressurizing Afghan government and people for the Taliban. And you must have seen that even New York Times was writing for Siraj Afghani. In New York Times was trying to prove a terrorist a hero, that he loves peace, he loves his country. But thank God, yesterday he tweeted and he was warning and threatening against the US. So I think it was a mistake from the beginning.
So do you think the betrayal was more from the Americans or Taliban or both?
Well, honestly speaking, there is no Taliban. Talibans are just, a group of terrorists placed by the ISI and Pak army. They have no freedom, Mullah brother who's been, the delegation head, he was locked 10 years in Pakistan. So it's all about the benefit of the Pakistan army and benefits of the ISI in the proxy war that they have, they have started in Afghanistan, in Kashmir, in India. So it was basically the mistake of the Americans because we have a strategic partnership. But Trump, as you know better, he never, cared for any diplomacy, for any partnership. He wanted to do his own ideas, his own thoughts. And, Zalmay Khalilzad told him that he can bring Taliban to the table and he can end the war. And he will be an American hero that he has ended Afghan war. So it was all, personal gains and for the Pak army and for Trump. There was nothing for Afghans.
Right. So,
but one thing that we are very, very, very happy for that, Taliban been saying that this is jihad, a fight for Islam. But now we see this is not a fight for Islam, this is a fight for Pakistan. And they have been good friends now who have been there calling kafirs or the non-Muslims, the Americans. And they have declared war against non-Muslims. But now they are, good friends with the non-Muslims. They are taking money in Doha from the Americans, from the Europeans. They have salaries there. But they are killing their own Muslim brothers and their own Afghans. So this means this is not the jihad. This was never for the Islam. It was all for Pakistan in their proxy.
Right. So Ambassador Sajanhar, you heard Mohammad Idris giving us the ground assessment. And as you heard that Pakistan was the key, it was all for benefit of Pakistan. What do you say on that?
Well, I tend to agree with what Mr. Stanikzai has said. Because even what the Biden administration has come forth and, the initial comments that have been made, whether it was in the talks between Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, with his Afghan counterpart, or by the Secretary of State, Tony Blinken, that, this deal that was made 1 year ago, it was a conditions-based deal that, there are certain conditions that have to be fulfilled if the United States is to withdraw its armed forces. It has already withdrawn most of its troops. Right. Only 2,500 troops are left, and now we are on the first day of March. So March and April, by the 1st May 2021, all the troops are to go back. And what they have said is that there has to be, the agreement was that there would be a significant decrease in violence, and that the Taliban would negotiate seriously towards a ceasefire between it and the Kabul government. Now that seriousness is nowhere visible of getting across to a ceasefire, and there is no decline. There is no come down as far as the violence is concerned. The violence, in fact, has been increasing. What the Taliban is saying is that, we had never agreed to, as far as the decrease in violence is concerned. Their commitment was that they are not going to be attacking the American troops and the American forces and the foreign troops, the NATO international security forces. And that they have scrupulously adhered to. They have not been attacking those. And any time that these attacks have taken place, they are being done by the Islamic State and they are not being done by the Taliban. But I think the objective viewers and analysts, they have said that Taliban has been engaging in all these attacks on the Afghan security forces, Afghan civilians, Afghan citizens. So I think they are really readying themselves for a major launch and seizure of power once the Americans leave. So I think it is the Biden administration is in a very big fix as to what to do, because if they were to agree and take out all the troops by the 1st of May, then the Kabul government, I don't know whether it will be able to survive, and Taliban will definitely sort of, run over, because they have put their forces on the suburbs of all the major cities and towns in Afghanistan. If the Americans were to say that the Taliban has not met the conditions and that they are going to extend their stay, again there is going to be a bloodbath. And 2,500 troops in Afghanistan are not really going to make all that much of a difference. If you take the NATO forces also, total number is about 10,000. So I think the Biden administration is in a very huge bind, and of course it will need to go to the Taliban, maybe through Pakistan, to tell them that we have to extend this deal. I don't think there is any other way out, at least at the present moment.
Right.
Ajay.
Major General Asthana, I'll come to you. As you heard, Ambassador also and Mohammad Idris also. So, do you think that Americans have betrayed and maybe they have got, left it open? They talk about peace, they want restoration of peace in Afghanistan, but when they want to run away, they have kept it the field open for Taliban to take over. Of course, with the help of Pakistan.
Firstly, I agree with both the panelists what they have said. Now, answering to your question, as far as American stakes are concerned, they came there only to ensure that Taliban, firstly, regime is displaced 19 years back, that is 2 decades back. And secondly, no terror group becomes strong enough to hit the mainland again. That was their motive. Peace in Afghanistan doesn't seem to be their motive at all. In any case, peace in Afghanistan by a foreign prescription will never be there. It has to be an Afghan-owned, Afghan-elected, and Afghan-brought-in governance which can actually bring peace there. Now, as far as Biden administration is concerned, they are in a dilemma. The dilemma is, if you continue after 1st May, that means it is going to be a Biden's war. And Republicans are going to say that, no, we said that you pull back. Why are you fighting a war which cannot be won? And a war in which we have lost 2 trillion and 250 security persons of United States.
Right.
If he doesn't withdraw, if he withdraws, then the problem is that firstly, this strategic space goes to Pakistan and China. Secondly, all these terror groups again become strong and perhaps are strong enough to hit the mainland again, which was their initial war aim when they started off. So there is a very big risk there. Now, what has happened is that the generals of American army, they are of the view that no, Taliban is continuing with violence, Taliban is getting stronger, IS is getting stronger, Al-Qaeda is getting stronger, we must be here. That is the professional view.
Yeah.
As far as Republicans are concerned, we should pull back. As far as Democrats are concerned, it is 50-50 because there is a risk involved.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, apparently they will take a call as they get closer to 1st May as what is exactly to be done. As far as India is concerned, we would certainly like the US troops to be there because firstly, the strategic space cannot be left to China because China is a new player
Right.
which has come in and has got interested in Afghanistan, and Wang Yi just visited Afghanistan. So they are now looking at Iran. There is a maximum, there is a $400 billion with the deal with Iran. So under all these circumstances, the moment Americans go, the Chinese are there. And they are going to build infrastructure. They are looking at CPEC through Afghanistan. So this is their game plan to get a warm water access. So that is also not suiting us. As far as Pakistan is concerned, it suits, if Americans go, it is going to suit them even better. So that is also not in our favor. As far as India is concerned, we have to be very careful. The ISIS has got a wing, ISAP. It is looking at India. We also have another group of AQIS, that is Al-Qaeda in South Asia.
Yeah.
That is also targeting India. So the terror factory is actually shifting into Afghanistan. So we have to be very watchful of this terror factory.
Yeah.
So considering all these things, it is not in our interest if Americans move from there. And if the Chinese get an edge there, and if the terror groups, they start getting an edge there, our diaspora is being hit, our people of the minorities in Afghanistan are being hit, Hindus and Sikhs are being hit. So apparently we have got a lot of stakes. Even in financial terms, we have already put almost $80 million worth of development there. And if you calculate the entire fund structure for the last 10 years, I think it would be more than $1 trillion or something like that.
$3 billion.
Economic stakes are also very high.
Yeah.
So considering all that, I don't think this deal was meant. I totally agree with the Afghan panelist that it was certainly not meant for bringing peace to Afghanistan. It was a graceful exit for US, and it is also seen to be believed that the so-called superpower is almost helpless, finding it helpless in Afghanistan when it comes to fighting the battle on ground in an insurgency-prone area.
Right.
And that is where I would say that people have to give credit to the forces.
Pakistan.
And certainly hold our ground when it comes to fighting a battle, a protracted battle of this kind.
Right.
Back to you, Ajay.
Right. So, Idris, I come to you. As you heard that other guest, so the thrust is like, as Mr. General was saying, that Americans are feeling helpless because I think by proxy they are fighting a war against Pakistan, isn't it? And Taliban under the deal was mandated to cut its ties with Al-Qaeda. Has it done so? Two questions.
Unfortunately, no. The first thing that the Americans are not very sincere and very true in fight against terrorists. If they wouldn't give this legitimacy and this protocol to the Taliban, a terrorist network. They wouldn't promote Siraj Haqqani in New York Times, another terrorist. And they would at least pressure Pakistan to close the training centers under the name of madrasas. They are training terrorists and sending to kill innocent people. So Taliban haven't cut their ties with Al-Qaeda, but they have strengthened their ties with Al-Qaeda, with other terrorists, even the ISIS thing. It's a fake thing. It's not directed to Syria or Iraq. It is another Pakistani brand. So what we are saying is that, of course, war is not the option. We must come to peace, and the peace must be a one-led peace process. But as for us, there are sanctuaries, there are routes, there are training centers of terrorists in Pakistan. In the region, in the world, do not act serious against it. there will be terrorists. If not Taliban, ISIS. If not ISIS, another group. If not another group, another group. Pakistanis will be rebranding their terrorists to kill innocents. So I believe that if you want peace in Afghanistan in the region, and if Americans really want peace in Afghanistan, the sanctuaries in Pakistan for the terrorists must be closed and destroyed.
Right.
Yes.
So, Ambassador Sajidar, I come to you. As you heard that Pakistan is the key when you had to fight terrorism in the real sense. I mean, if you take Americans, if they take them on face value. So, Pakistan, we know, we Indians know how we are troubled by sanctuaries in Pakistan, and you hear Afghans also complain about the same. But Americans are focusing somewhere else. So, I think the focus is wrong deliberately, or they are being misled.
No, I don't think it is deliberate. I think they definitely want to. You see, Pakistan is been of great importance for them. You know, we know from the Soviet times as to how Pakistan was used to basically dismember the Soviet Union and disintegrate the Soviet Union when the Soviets had come into Afghanistan. So in that sense, Pakistan has been of strategic significance for the Americans. It has also, you know, since Pakistan also has a nuclear weapon, so that is why they want to have, they want to apply pressure, but not such a pressure that Pakistan will completely go out of its own orbit of influence.
Yeah.
And today, of course, we see that there is much greater influence in Pakistan as far as China is concerned. So I think there also they want to keep some balance there. So I don't think that it is purposely that they are doing it. Again, they have had, the U.S. Army has had very good relations with the Pakistan Army. The Pentagon and the Pakistan Army have had good relations, and they have been supporting the Pakistan Army, and that all that money and all that funding. What, Donald Trump in his tweet of 1st of January 2018, you remember he said that we have given about $33 billion to Pakistan over the last 16, 17 years, and all that it has given us is false promises and deceit, and it has been harboring the same people that it has we have been wanting, the terrorists that we have been wanting. So I think all those problems have been there between Pakistan and the United States. But still, I would not go so far as to suggest that Pakistan, the United States has been purposely giving a long rope to Pakistan. I think Pakistan has been, whenever it sees that the pressure on Pakistan is increasing, it will have a crackdown on some of these terrorist elements. It will give away some of these smaller terrorists, take action against them, or hand them over to America. But, as soon as the pressure is off, it will again start sending these terrorists again back into action as far as Afghanistan is concerned. I think there is today a sense of triumphalism in Islamabad, because they feel that they have been able to withstand the pressure of the United States, of the superpower, and they have been able to win against it.
Right.
They have kept to this for the last 19 years. So I think this really needs to be handled in an appropriate manner, because if this is the sort of impression, and if Taliban comes into, occupies the seat of government in Kabul, then it is going to become a formidable area from where Pakistan will be able to launch terrorist attacks, not against only India, but much further afield in Central Asia and other places. So I think even countries like Russia and China also need to be wary about it. And last point that I'll make here is, you see, once Taliban comes into its own in Afghanistan and Kabul, there is no certainty that they will continue to do all the bidding of Pakistan. They might have their own agenda of spreading, expanding territory, spreading terrorism, and so we might have even more problems to contend with than if it was only Pakistan. So I think the world in the neighborhood particularly, but the world in general, needs to be very cautious about what it is landing, what we are landing ourselves into, and needs to take corrective actions. The neighboring countries really need to come together and provide some sort of stability and ensure peace and security in Afghanistan.
Right.
Okay.
So, General Asthana, I'll come to you. As you heard, Ambassador and Mohammad Idris also. So, the crux is that Pakistan is the key factor. So, Taliban will be as strong as Pakistan, as much as Pakistan wants it to be. So, we can't trust Americans because they have their own interests. But Afghans and Indians are both bothered by this one common neighbor. So, do you think India and Afghanistan should have some kind of real-term cooperation, military-wise, to take on this problem?
Certainly. In fact, I totally agree that Pakistan is the key to the problem. In fact, in Taliban and in all these terror groups which are operating there, as of now, there are more than about 6,000 to 6,500 Pakistani terrorists physically operating there. This is a report which the United Nations has given. So, Pakistan's involvement is complete in all the terror groups. Nowadays, Taliban, to avoid being named, what they are doing is getting the terror attacks done through the IS wing with the help, with the assurance to give them shelter. So this is the kind of game which are being played there, but all these terror groups are almost the same. Now, as far as India is concerned, we have been helping out the Afghan establishment and Afghan government to a great extent. We have helped them out in capacity building, in giving them equipment, giving them training. Their officers are being trained here, their men are being trained here. There are a lot of things which we have done as far as capacity building is concerned. The only thing is that we have physically not intervened in Afghanistan for two basic reasons. One is, as I said, a foreign recipe cannot bring peace in Afghanistan. The second thing is that our precondition was that if multinational forces had to get into Pakistan, to Afghanistan, then it has to be under a blue beret operation. It cannot be, it has to be a United Nations operation. And third thing is that if we get into Afghanistan with no land route in between, then the air assets are not that much that it can support a big force there. So therefore, we will unnecessarily buy a vulnerability. So boots on ground in Afghanistan are not suiting as far as the India is concerned.
Yeah.
And all other than that, every single help is being given to them.
Right.
I want to make two quick points in addition to that.
Please, we are running out of time. Yeah, 1 minute, please.
Okay, doesn't matter. One quick point.
Yeah.
Taliban is changing the goalpost now.
Yeah.
Earlier they said release 5,000 prisoners. Now they are saying I release 7,000 more.
Yeah.
Secondly, they are now also saying that without election, please let us be part of the government. Now this is something which is changing the goalpost.
Yeah.
And as far as we are concerned, India is concerned, we have a very serious concern of international north-south transport corridor that passes through Afghanistan. That is very crucial to us. Chabahar is crucial to us as India. We need it. And therefore, a stable Pakistan is in the interest of India, and even it is also in the interest of United States. And that is what we have to flag to United States, that your being there, if you are moving out from there, is going to just give a free run to all these terrorists, and you will lose the strategic space forever. So this is what I wanted to convey.
Yeah, right.
That's the idea.
Right. So we have a lot of stakes there, and I think we need to convince Americans that they have to be there. But the time of this program today is over. Thank you, all of you, for participating in this debate today. This is all in the agenda today. Thanks for watching. I'll be back with another important topic tomorrow. Till then, goodbye.